Well, we're running out of time now. If our viewers would like to contribute to or join the campaign for secession, what can they do?
Oh, they can visit one of our various websites. The Second Vermont Republic's website is vermontrepublic.org. Contains lots of information about the organization, how one might contribute. Or you can subscribe to the Vermont Independence newspaper, Vermont Commons. It has its own website, vtcommons.org. A weekly radio show on WDEV, hosted by Vermont Commons editor Rob Williams. There's also Free Vermont, which is a grassroots effort aimed at getting non-binding secession resolutions on town meeting agendas next spring. You can participate in that. Free Vermont has its own website. And then more recently, there's the Green Mountain Brigade. greenmountainbrigade.org has monthly meetings in the Langdon Street Cafe in Montpelier. Dennis Steele is the person in charge of that organization. These are some of the activities available that one might participate.
The town meetings, I think, are a really good place where we can push the idea of independence. I grew up in New York, and we don't have anything resembling town meetings. And I certainly think we're very lucky to have town meetings here in Vermont.
Yeah, and there's a long tradition of these so-called non-binding resolutions, sometimes being fairly provocative. Back in the 80s, when Reagan was president, something like 180 Vermont towns voted for a nuclear freeze, which is certainly antithetical to anything the Reagan administration supported. And then several years ago, there were, I think, maybe 40 or 50 towns voted to withdraw our troops from Iraq at Vermont town meetings, and more recently, a number of towns voted to impeach Bush and Cheney. I mean, these are non-binding, but they can help raise the level of awareness of secession. I mean, right now there are about 12 or 13% of, according to a UVM survey, 12 or 13% of registered voters support secession. The challenge is to get that up to about 25 or 30%, because, believe it or not, then when the American Revolution took place in 1776, only about 25 to 30% of the people at that time actually supported secession, and still they prevailed.
And we were talking about the collapse of the Soviet Union and of South Africa, and those things happened very quickly.
Yes.
Suddenly, from one year to the next, you had the majority of the people supporting them, and suddenly it turns around.
And it's our take that the American empire is going down, and it could go down much faster than most of us ever imagined. And we need to be prepared.
And people should read your book too.
I hope so.
I read this before our interview, and it's a really fascinating and very good summary of secession, and I recommend it to everyone.
And there's also the Vermont Commons, our bi-monthly newspaper, edited by Rob Williams.
Can people get your book from Amazon.com?
Yes, as well as local bookstores.
Good. I think it costs $10 or $12.
$12.
Yeah. I recommend it. Well, Tom, it's been very interesting talking to you, and I want to thank you for coming.
Oh, it was my pleasure. It was fun chatting with you.
Yes. And that is all for this month. I will be back next month for another edition of Vermont Today. Thank you for joining us.